Okay, this is checking whether I can just use this to record. So for instance, if I wanted to come in here and talk about how to do searches, I could click here. I could demonstrate how to do a search. Let's say I want to look in a particular industry, automotive industry, for everyone that has the word finance in their current job title. Yeah, just as an example. I click on that. Hello, who is there? Bobby? Okay, so just as a brief overview, in part one we talked quite a bit about some of the uses of LinkedIn, and tonight we're going to talk about searches and then your LinkedIn profile, okay? And a little bit tonight on, a little bit about settings. We'll start with that and then talk about searches and then your profile. So that's the end of my PowerPoint. How was that? Okay.
Awesome.
Awesome. Hey, that's what I like. So settings, the easiest way to get there is to hover over your photo, or if you don't have a photo, you're going to have like a shadow image over on the far right up here, and just come down to where it says privacy and settings. Okay. And I'm trying to remember whether I talked at all about this in the first session, did I?
I think a little bit.
Okay. All right. So I may be repeating something here, but since you may want to, doesn't like this, huh? Just a moment. I have to think while I enter my password. It is kind of nice that LinkedIn asks your password before you go to your settings page. It will do that every time, even if you're logged in. You know, I'm logged in, but it still asks for my password because obviously your settings are changing some important things here. I do think I mentioned this last time, the turn on and off your activity broadcasts. So if you're going to be doing a lot of work on your profile, or if you don't want changes in your profile to go out to all your first level connections, then you definitely want to be sure that this is turned off. I keep mine off all the time. If I was making an update that I wanted to go out to all my first level connections, I would come in and check the box, save that, and then go ahead and make my change. But for instance, if you, trying to think of an example, if you change your photo, that will go out. If you change your job title, I think LinkedIn will send out a notice that you have a new job, things like that. So it's just good to know that you can change that setting. And this is where you can come in and change other kinds of settings as well. Are there any particular settings or privacy questions that either of you have?
No, I don't think so.
Deborah, I just had a question. What do you feel is the advantage of keeping your activity broadcast turned to off?
Primarily, it's especially if you're making a lot of changes, it might be kind of annoying to your first level connections if they keep getting these messages as you make changes. I think that's the main reason. Another reason might be if you're making changes to your profile because you're starting up a job search or thinking about it, but you don't, and you have a lot of first level connections maybe in your current company, and you don't want necessarily to broadcast the fact that you're working on your profile. So if somebody,
if you turn it off,
yep,
and you make all those changes,
yep,
and then you turn it on,
yep,
will they not? They won't get a message then?
correct.
Okay.
Correct. Mm-hmm. So, however, if this is on or off at the time you're making the changes, so yeah, if you make all your changes and come back and turn it on, they won't get a message. Now, if they looked at your profile last week and actually remember what was in there or wasn't in there, and then they look at it this week and they see there's changes, you know, that's just right the way it is. They're going to see that there's changes. But you're not necessarily sending a message out to them that you've made a change.
Okay.
All right? All right, so let's talk about some searches, okay? And, we've talked a little bit about, doing simple searches. So, for instance, we've got Joshua. So if when I went in and looked at everybody's profiles, and so I just typed in the name, right? And then all the Joshua, how do you say your last name? Zlatlin?
Slatkin.
Slatkin, okay. All the Joshua Zlatkins came up, and you are a lucky guy because there's one of you.
Yeah.
It's actually nice on LinkedIn to have a distinctive name. If you're Susan Smith, there's 5,000 Susan Smiths in the Philadelphia area, and it's harder for people to find you. So, that's a very simple, obviously, people search. We can also search for a particular company. So is there a company that either of you might be interested in seeing who works there?
Let's go with, trying to think. Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. All right. Now that's going to be an interesting one because you have to know if it's spelled with or without a hyphen.
Yeah.
And there's probably going to be lots of subsidiaries. So the larger the company, sometimes the greater challenge it is. Now in this case, it came up right here at the top. Okay. But and there's 378,000 results for Coca-Cola. Now that's all the people, all the jobs, all the companies, all the LinkedIn groups. If I just click companies over here on the left, or up here right next to Coca-Cola, I can click on that little down arrow and select companies and do my search again. Now it's only going to give me companies. Either way, okay, that little click on the left or coming up here and changing it. And so here I see the Coca-Cola company, okay, and by clicking here, I should pick up all the subsidiaries as well, all right. And did we talk at all about company pages last time?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Okay. So just like people have profiles, companies have profiles, every company or organization is going to have a home page. They may have other tabs here like careers, products, that sort of thing. They're going to have some kind of description, typically a link to the website, location, the headquarters. What LinkedIn industry do they consider themselves to be a part of? And then down here may be a company news feed. So in this case, somebody, Coca-Cola, has decided, probably someone in the marketing department, that this is the kind of stuff they want on their LinkedIn news feed. Okay, the news feed can be press releases, information about the company that the company is putting out, or it could be mentions of the company in the media, or it could be job openings. So, for companies that you're particularly interested in, you may want to keep track of that news feed, and the easiest way to do that it would be to click this yellow button up here called Follow. And what that allows you to do is come here then under Interests and click Companies, and then what you see is the combined news feed of all the companies you're following. So if there's 10 companies that you're really interested in, you can just come in here once a day, once a week, whatever, and see what is in their news feed. If you forget what companies you're following, you can click here where it says Following, and it'll just show you the companies that you're following. All right, so that's under Interest Companies. That's that combined news feed from all the companies. And you can unfollow a company as well if you don't want to anymore. And then you're always going to see how many employees of that company are on LinkedIn. And by clicking See All, I've now sorted just those 50,000 employees. I also see I have no first-level connections. I have 468 second-degree connections. All right, so that the stuff that appears up here is going to be dependent on your network. Now, if I click here, in theory, I have 50,000 results. In reality, I have 100. So on any search like this in the free account, LinkedIn is only going to show me the first 100 results. So if either of you were to do this same search and click on See All, you would also have the 50,024 number showing up, but you would also only see the first 100 results. It's going to give you 10 pages. Oops. 10 per page, 10 pages. Okay? And the order is going to be different. Okay, so Joshua, it's good. What you would see on your first page for Coca-Cola, and Bobby, for you, it's going to be different because LinkedIn is showing you names here based on your network. Okay, right now we're in my account. So it's showing based on my network. So it's always going to show first level, then second, then third in group, and then everyone else. Now, at this point, I can do some other searches. I can narrow it down. So if I just want to look at United States, I could click United States. You'll see there's 23,000 U.S. out of 50,000 total. Okay, pretty global company we have here. If I just wanted, for instance, to see a particular area, Chicago, okay, I could come to location and click add and start typing Chicago, select that, and now I see there's 526 in the Chicago area. Let's say, so you can see it's picked up these subsidiaries here as well, okay. If I could see what companies, those 526 people, what companies did they work at prior to working at Coca-Cola? Now, I wish LinkedIn gave us more than 5 results here, but if you're curious, you can see what schools those people went to. Not surprisingly, people in the Chicago area primarily went to Illinois, Chicago area schools. Okay. What else? I can then click up here where it says Advanced and do some further sorts. And so, again, it's showing me these are all the companies it picked up. Okay. It looks like it picked up, I don't know what that is. Iceland, maybe? Here's where I can, for instance, well, I'm actually going to take out the Chicago, so I'm going to go back to the full results. But by clicking school here, I can look for people who have a particular school in the education section of their profile. So here's where we can say, I wonder if we have any LaSalle alumni at Coca-Cola. And I start typing in LaSalle. It helps to spell it correctly. Be sure and put a space between La and Sal. And you'll see all these options coming up, right? You want to click LaSalle University, Greater Philadelphia area. You also want to be aware, however, that we are actually in here, we're in this master list twice. We're also in this LaSalle University School Business Administration. You see that? So I want to select both of these to get all the LaSalle alumni. Any questions on what I did there?
Nope.
Okay. So I took out the Chicago, so I'm actually going to go ahead. So I took out the Chicago, so I'm going to be looking at all of Coca-Cola, but just LaSalle. And we have 8 results. And not surprisingly, they're probably, well, here's Atlanta. But most of them are Philadelphia area. Here's San Francisco. Okay? So if for some reason I had a particular interest in Coca-Cola, wanted to speak to someone in the Philadelphia area, or wanted to speak to a LaSalle alum, that's how I would use the advanced search to begin to narrow the results down. Okay? So here's someone, Lauren Craig is a Senior Manager of Public Affairs and Communications. Jamie is an Area Sales Manager, etc. Any questions on what I did there?
Nope.
So what I did, I started with the company name, I went to the company page, I clicked See All, and then I began to refine my results. Okay?
Yes.
All right. Now, I'm going to show you a page here that I have not found any way to navigate to through LinkedIn, so I will be sure that you get a copy of the link here. This is a list of all the LinkedIn industries. So when you started your profile, you had to select an industry. So every individual has selected an industry. Every company is in an industry, and you can only select one as an individual, and you can only select one as a company. But this is nice because it's instead of just seeing a drop-down menu, they're kind of grouped somewhat, and you can see the full list here. So you can make a note that, gee, the ones I'm most interested in are, you know, these 3 or these 13 or whatever, okay?
Oh, okay.
The other thing, by starting on this page and clicking on a particular industry, say pharmaceuticals, I now see all the companies in that industry, not people. So,
Oh, I didn't know that.
So there are 20,602 companies that have indicated they're pharmaceuticals. Okay. Now, perhaps I just want to see the ones in a certain area. We'll pick Philadelphia since we're there. Okay. Of those 20,602, drum roll. Come on, there we go. 432 are Greater Philadelphia area. Okay. And you'll see here 1175 New York City. I mean, that's going to pull in, you know, areas like Princeton can't decide if they're New York City or Philadelphia, right? Okay, so if I just want to see U.S., I could click here for U.S. So again, I'm only going to see the first 100 results, okay? But this is a way for when I speak to alumni about their job search and I say, you know, develop a target company list, this can be a way of doing that. You can also then sort it further by company size. If you're only interested in very small companies or the largest ones, you can just select the ones by company size. And this is kind of a way to get around that 100 limitation. So, you know, by selecting one or more of these at a time, it looks like I can probably get all 432 except for maybe 6 of them in here. Okay. So if I just wanted to look at the very largest ones, I could select the ones that are 10,000 or greater. You'll notice here Sioux Falls, South Dakota is their headquarters, but they must have a Philadelphia subsidiary or, you know, unit of some kind. Now by clicking on any of these names, okay, I go to the company page just like we did before, okay, same kind of information, news feed. If I wanted to, I could follow this company, and here again, I click see all, and now I'm seeing the people in that company. And in this case, Teva, look at all those subsidiaries it picked up.
Wow.
So that's why I always suggest going to the company page when you want to look for people in a company rather than just rather than using the company thing on the advanced search page. Okay, so we have 15,493. Of those, 6,000 are in the U.S., 2,000 in Philadelphia area, so on and so forth. Now there's some other fun things I can do with advanced search. For instance, I could say who has a particular word anywhere in their profile. Okay, now what fields are you in, Bobby and Joshua?
I'm trying to get into instructional design.
I do pharmaceutical training.
And Bobby, what?
Pharmaceutical training.
Okay, okay. So training and then instructional design. Okay. So so here's a let's take Bobby. So who has the word training in their profile at this company? Okay. If this were one of your target companies, you might want to say, you know, who's doing the kind of work that interests me. And there's 1,105 that have the word training. Again, we might want to limit that to just Philadelphia, 370 people in Philadelphia. We could, if we wanted to, just look for LaSalle alumni, again, by clicking school and putting in the alumni. I'm not going to do that right now, okay? So that's finding the word training anywhere in the profile. Here's a quality training manager at Teva, okay? I could also put it here where it says title. You see that? Mm-hmm. And now it's going to look for the word training only in the title. So it has to appear in the title. So that's going to be a smaller number than 370. Right now it's saying training is in a current or past job title, but I could change that. If I only wanted training to show up in the current job title, oops, or in the past but not current, or whatever I want. All right, let's look at who has training in their current job title. and we have 26 results. Okay, so now you can begin to look at some of these profiles. All right, if that's a company that interests you, you want to see what are these people doing, what's their background, what are some of the skills that they're emphasizing, because maybe that's a skill that I want to be sure is on my profile. And in fact, when we talk about your LinkedIn profile, I highly advise that you really look at people kind of in your field or your desired field. Look at their profiles. What do you like and not like about their profiles? Okay, so she's got a little description here about what she does. Read her description. Do you like what she said here? Is it helpful? Is it interesting? Does it tell you about her and what she does or not? What does that tell you about what you want to have in your profile? What skills does she have that you might want to include in your profile? She's not telling us a whole much more, anything more about her education other than her degree information. And in this case, she is not in any LinkedIn groups, so we're not going to get any ideas for LinkedIn groups we might want to join. Okay, let me see if, I'm just going to see, let me go back, oops. Okay. So LinkedIn is a wonderful, wonderful resource for doing research on companies, on people's career paths, all that kind of stuff. All right, and here's a quality training manager, oncology sales training, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? Questions?
Yep.
And Deborah, just to clarify, so the people are showing are the people that.
So that particular company, Teva, I selected Philadelphia area, and they have the word training currently in their job title. If I didn't want to be limited to Philadelphia, then obviously my number is going to go up, 84 in that company. And again, we're in my account right now, so it's showing me that all these people are second-level connections to me. And then further down, I don't know how many pages down I have to go. Now I see third-level connections. Now you'll notice when you get to third level, okay, that you just get the first name, last initial. And if you click on that, you don't get the full profile. Why? Because LinkedIn wants you to pay money to buy a paid account. But guess what? In 95% of the cases, you can get the full name. So we're looking at Rachel here, right? You can use Google to get the full name. So let me show you how to do that. I'm going to go to Google. And what I like to do, we'll do Rachel R. I like to copy this line here that's directly under the name. This is called the headline. LinkedIn's default for the headline is job title at current company. However, as we'll see in a moment, you can make that headline say anything you want. By putting it in quotes like I did here, okay, make that a little larger. By putting this in quotes, it's forcing Google to look for an exact match. And then I also pick up, I like to add the name in case there's other people with that title. And then I do my Google search. And there she is, Rachel Rowley. Probably. Well, maybe not. Let me go back. Rachel R., Kansas City, Missouri. Is that her? Okay.
I believe so.
So now it's giving me all the Rachel Rowleys, but I remember she works for Teva, right? And so let's see if we can get her. Associate Training Specialist. There she is. Okay. Rachel R., Associate Training Specialist, Kansas City. Rachel Rowley. I click on her name. Now I get her full profile. I didn't have to pay LinkedIn to do that. So a nice little trick to know how to do. Did I answer your question, Bobby, about how did we get to the results here?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So, as you're trying to transition into a different kind of role, whether or not you're currently actively engaged in a job search, these are the people you want to begin to reach out to through LinkedIn and begin to have conversations with. So I'm at a stage in my career where I'm evaluating, determining where I'd like to go next with my career. One of the industries I'm targeting is pharmaceuticals, and would love to just have 10 minutes of your time over the phone to ask you some questions about your experience at Teva Pharmaceuticals. Now you'll notice that in that request there, I'm not saying anything about jobs or openings or can you help me? Okay? I'm just asking for a little bit of their time to ask about their experience. Okay, so let's see what we haven't covered yet. One other thing, there's one other way to search for alumni, and that's under connections here. And you go to connections and click find alumni. What LinkedIn does here is it already lumps together all the people at a particular school. It's going to pick up your most recent school where you got your most recent degree, but you can change the school to anything you want. So I'm going to change it to LaSalle University. This find alumni feature, you can only do one school at a time, so to be thorough I would need to do LaSalle University and then come and do LaSalle University School Business. And what LinkedIn has done here is, first of all, it looks at your location information to tell you where do these 22,000 LaSalle people live, not surprisingly mostly Greater Philadelphia. Where do they work? It's looking at employment information. What do they do? It's looking at job titles and applying an algorithm. So it's looking maybe for the keyword finance in a job title and lumping all those into this category. Okay? So it's doing a bit of analysis there. There's a little arrow that it's a little hard to see about halfway down on either side that takes you to page 2. And on page 2, what they studied, LinkedIn analyzes the education section. And again, somebody might say psychology or counseling psychology or whatever, and those all get lumped together in psychology. What they're skilled at is just looking at the skills section, skills and endorsements, and listing those. And then how am I connected? Okay, so I have 452 first level connections and then 8,000 second level connections. So this, for some people, looking at it this way can be helpful. For other people, it may not be, and unfortunately there isn't a way, for instance, if you wanted to add a what they studied category that isn't listed here, LinkedIn doesn't give you a way to add that. Yeah. So let's see. Training, instructional technology are not necessarily, now training might show up as a skill, but I'm not seeing any training as skills. Okay. And information technology is, I'm not seeing that. It might get, see again, LinkedIn might be lumping that into computer and information sciences. Not really sure. Okay. If for instance, what do they do? Let's take a look here. Again, instructional technology might be lumped in with information technology, media and communication. But for instance, if I wanted to, engineering, that's interesting. Let's just pick one of these. Well, let's pick information technology. By clicking here now, I'm only going to see the 1,370, okay, that are in information technology. Okay, 1,370. So it's doing that sort. Now I see where do they work. Okay, what are the companies they work at? And what did they study? And what are the skills? What are they showing that they're skilled at? So I just wanted to show you that that's there under the Find Alumni. You can also specify years, and I think you can also put in a keyword here. Gosh, let's see. Let's try instructional. And of those 1,370, okay. Well, prove me wrong.
What about, can you click on that magnifying glass that's next to it?
It's not,
No.
all right. Well, anyway, I'll let you play with it. Okay, so I just want to point that out to you that that's there. And again, some people find it very helpful and others less so. Okay. So that's what I wanted to show you in terms of searches. Is there anything else before we talk about your profile?
Nope.
Okay. So let me go to, we'll go to my profile, but we'll be looking at yours as well. The first thing you notice on my profile is I've got this blue screen back here. And so slowly, LinkedIn likes to make changes, likes to add features. Unfortunately, it takes things away that everybody likes as well. And now they have this feature of the custom background. And so that's finally arrived for me. And so I'm going to try and find a nice nature scene because it says something that represents your school, your profession, or cause you care about. Well, I don't know how to represent career counseling in a picture, but I love nature, so I'll probably put a nature scene up there. Okay, so a couple things. Obviously, a name. Now, Bobby, you may be interested to know I couldn't find you on LinkedIn because you're Roberta in LinkedIn. Do most people know you as Bobby? So you work with both. Now, one option that you have, Bobby, and it's really, it's up to you whether you want to do this, if people know you both. And I'm just going to show you on my account. So if you went to edit profile and click next to your name, okay? Oops. I don't want the photo. Here we go. Okay. You can click where it says former name. And in your case, Roberta, and then you would put Bobby here. And you can decide who gets to see that. Just your first level connections, just your network, which first, second, and third, or everyone. Okay? And then you would save it, and notice what happens to mine. Deborah, Bobby, Frankie. So women can use this for a maiden name. Women and men can use it for a nickname. Okay? And I believe now, let's try it. If I were to type in Bobby Frankie, now don't worry, I'll correct it. Yep. See, it's going to show up whether I type in Deborah Frankie or Bobby Frankie. So Bobby, you may want to do that. You might want to say Roberta and then put Bobby in parentheses. If you really do use both. Okay, and I'm going to fix that because everybody's going to wonder, who is Deborah Bobby Frankie? So I'm going to take that out and save. Okay. Your headline, as I said, this is what appears, let me go out of edit mode. Headline is what appears directly under your name. Okay? Oops, this here. And LinkedIn's default is your job title at your current employer. But you can make this say whatever you want. And let me show you, we had at least one of our students, Joshua. Here we go. So you can see Joshua's headline is not his job title at his current employer. Okay? He's kind of got this branding statement, simplifying the complicated through training. I'll show you a couple other examples. Here he wants to emphasize his company and website, and he's about organizing. By organizing your job search, you're going to manage your career. Okay. Here's an example. He's an author. He wants to emphasize a book that he's written. He does LinkedIn profile writing, job search training, and whatever Infusionsoft is. So that headline can be whatever you want. And for instance, Gabrielle's not on the phone, but her headline right now just says student at LaSalle University. She really needs to change that and potentially say something like aspiring instructional technology professional. Okay, someone who is experienced. Let me see here. Robin, for instance, you might want hers to say human resources business partner, comma, organizational development strategist. So rather than just a title, you're telling us a little bit more about yourself. And it's totally up to you what you do with that, but there we go. It's good to know that you can change that profile. Okay. Location, I think both of you have greater Philadelphia area, and that would be appropriate. If you were targeting to move to another area, then you might want to change the location to the area where you want to move to. Okay. In your field here, okay, I have higher ed. You just have to do your best try. You know, very often people say, well, I fall into 3 different industry categories. Well, you have to pick one and then let the rest of your profile show that breadth. Okay. So again, going back to that LinkedIn industry list I showed you earlier that I'll send you the link to, shows you what all the potential industries are. You don't have any control over this. LinkedIn is just picking up current previous education from the information further down. Contact information. This is your LinkedIn URL. Okay, URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator. So that is unique to you, and you can use that in your email signature. You can put it at the top of your resume with your other contact information. You can have it on your business card. I think I'm the first person at LaSalle University with their LinkedIn URL on their business card. Very proud of that, by the way. And many people, when LinkedIn, let's see, let's pick up one. Okay. So let me see if this is an example here on Joshua's. Make it a little bigger. You see all these numbers and letters here? You can clean. Yes. You can clean that up. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yep. You can clean that up. So I will show you how to do that, Joshua. Again, I'll go into my profile, edit profile, and right next to the URL you click edit, and then over here you look for where it says enhance your personal brand, but create a custom URL for your LinkedIn public profile. So you would click on that little symbol. You'll notice the first part of this, okay, you can't change. Okay?
Okay.
So you can make the end of it say whatever you want. So given, you know, if you have an unusual name, it can just be your name. If you're Susan Smith, you might have to be a little more creative. You know, Susan Smith 123 or something like that. Okay. When I had my private practice, I actually used the name of my private practice, but now that I'm at LaSalle, I changed it to my name. But that's a way of cleaning up all those numbers and letters, and then it just looks cleaner, right? Instead of having all that gobbledygook afterwards. Okay. So that's on your headline and your URL. Let's see what else. On contact information. So let's see, I don't remember. Let me get yours up here, Bobby. Oops. There we are. Okay. Now, Bobby, none of your URL isn't showing here. Do you know if you've changed your settings so it doesn't show up?
I wasn't aware. I'll have to go in and look
Okay,
at that.
okay. So one of the things we haven't talked yet is about the photo, okay? Joshua, a good professional photo, nice simple background. If you wanted to, you could come in and crop it a little tighter, okay? Showing a little, less of the suit and just more of you. You'll see I've, mine's cropped fairly tightly. Bobby, I would recommend a more professional photograph. You just want to keep in mind, LinkedIn is about who you are as a professional. Okay. It's all about, what you're trying to let the world know about you as a professional. So this would be a very nice photograph on Facebook, okay? Even tells us something about you and that sort of thing. I think, it's a great smile. I mean, it's a great face, a great smile. Just the setting, I think you got sunglasses up in the hair there. You're obviously looking pretty casual. I suspect you don't dress like that at work. So you want to have a professional photograph, simple background, and crop it fairly tightly to the face. Take a look, again, take a look at other people's profiles, what you like and dislike about them. Now, Bobby, you've got a summary here, okay? It's short, it's concise, to the point. If you are, looking for a new position, looking to transition, that sort of thing, you may want to expand on this a bit, okay? But in terms, it does tell us something about you, okay? Let's take a look, Joshua. You probably want to do some work on your summary, okay?
Yeah, I saw something on LinkedIn probably about a year ago where somebody was talking about, actually a lady named JT O'Donnell, who I follow.
Yep.
She was saying that, like, you just put, like, you don't do, like, paragraphs in your summary, which I tried to model up after what she was talking about, and that was one of my questions about the profile, because I wasn't real thrilled with my summary.
Okay. Well, the nice thing about a summary is it's literally a blank sheet of paper and you can say whatever you want. The hard thing about the summary is it's a blank sheet of paper. And, and there's no rules about it. I mean, people can do all kinds of things, okay, with it. I'll just show you some examples. There is no one way to do your summary or profile. So in mine, I have it in the third person, okay? Other people will say, oh no, it has to be first person. It personalizes it much more. But I've tried to talk a little bit about kind of who I am as a professional, what I currently do, a little bit about my background, and a little bit about kind of what really motivates me, okay? Now, I want to make some changes to my LinkedIn profile, and that will probably include some changes in my summary. I want to bring a little of my own story into it, which you can do in a LinkedIn profile and you can't really do in a resume. Why am I even in this field? What brought me to this field? So let me see. I think Scott didn't have Paul's fairly short again. Oh, I do have you on here, Roberta. Okay. Robin, again, looks like she's kind of taken the JT O'Donnell approach. Let's see. Here's Jason, and his is obviously sentence and paragraph, some kind of historical, but really trying to give you a feel for who he is, and how he got to where he is right now, and what he's passionate about. Here's Dermot Miles, a little more kind of straightforward, professional, giving you a little of the history, a few numbers in here, okay, and then kind of a summary, in terms of here's the value I bring, here's what makes me distinctive, and I really think that's part of what I like to encourage people to bring out in their summary. A little bit of your story, a little bit of what really motivates and drives you in your work, and what distinguishes you from other people in the field, okay? Let's see, Liz Ryan, Again, she's talking a little bit about her background and then about her company and what really, to teach practices, so on and so forth. And she's really trying to give you a sense of who she is and why she is where she is in her career. Joshua, again, you'll see a lot of these are, now what I don't like about Joshua's is every single paragraph starts with I. He just needs an editor,
How do you? I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but like, how do you know what's gonna grab like a recruiter or a hiring manager's attention? I mean, that's pretty much what I was looking for when I tried to create my summary this last time, because they said, I heard through a blog of JT's that, they take like 30 seconds to read it.
Right.
So that's...
Yeah, and what your summary looks like is going to vary depending on kind of where you are in your career and what you're hoping your LinkedIn profile will achieve. So if you're if it's very focused on trying to attract attention from and retain attention from recruiters, internal and external, it's going to look different than someone who isn't necessarily looking for that, but is more kind of building their professional network. Okay. Certainly, recruiters use the paid linked account, paid professional recruiting LinkedIn account. They're going to put in keywords. They're going to look for years of experience, those kinds of things. And so you want to be sure your keywords are sprinkled kind of throughout your profile. Now you'll notice I don't particularly like this, to be honest with you, but I understand why he's doing it. So here's Dermot. He's got this long list of specialties. These are all the keywords that he thinks a recruiter might use to search for someone like him. And then under each of his jobs, he's listed which of those keywords he demonstrated in that job. See what he's done? It's very clear to me. He's looking for a position. I mean, it's well laid out. And then he's repeated those same keywords down here under interests and under advice for contacting. Maybe that's where the overkill comes in my mind. Okay.
Seems a little overdone.
Yeah. So, but you do want to be sure, if you want to be, quote, found by recruiters, you want to be sure, you have to kind of put yourself in their shoe. If they have the job I'm looking for, what are the things they're likely to be searching for? And do I have that not just in my summary, but in the bullets under my work experience? Okay. Is my work experience not just, you want to get away from tasks and responsibilities and talk more about accomplishments and achievements. And just like you want to do that on a resume as well. You don't want to just list tasks and responsibilities. There's 100,000 people that can list the same responsibilities, but only one person can discuss a particular achievement that you accomplished. I don't know if that helped at all.
Yeah, it did. Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm cognizant of our time here. Let me see what else I want to add about a profile at this point. So we talked some about the summary. You'll notice at the end of my summary I include my email address. I want to make it as easy as possible for people to contact me, so I put it right here. I also put it down, and I don't remember offhand if you guys have this or not. Under additional info, there's an optional section, advice for contacting. I also put my email there. All right, I want to make it as easy as possible. In addition to the summary, you want to use bullets in your work history, and again, you want to get away from responsibilities and tasks and talk more about your accomplishments. Talk about what makes you distinctive, either what you accomplished or how you went about it. And let me see if here we go. This is the LaSalle alumni website. lasalle.edu/alumni, and if you go on that website, lasalle.edu/alumni, click on Career Solutions, This is the piece I manage. And this over here where it says job search, it's actually a checklist I put together for people conducting a job search. And one of the things I talk about here are CAR stories, where CAR stands for challenge, action, result. And this is how you move your work experience from tasks and responsibilities to accomplishments.
Is there any login information you need
No.
to log into
Nope.
this?
Mm-mm. Not at all.
Okay, because the other one, you need like your birth date and all this stuff. I can't get into for the career.
Oh, ExploreNet?
Service.
ExploreNet.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you should be able to, either students and alumni can get into ExploreNet, which is the job database managed by Current Employment Services. If you have difficulty getting in, just contact them.
Okay.
Okay. And Bobby, you made the comment that your employer uses this for interviewing. Exactly. Anytime an employer says, tell me about a time when, that's called behavioral interviewing, and what they're looking for are CAR stories. But in addition to interviewing, these CAR stories, I think, can be really helpful on resumes in your LinkedIn profile. So the example here, and you can come back and read it, here's a CAR story. On the resume, it might look like this, or it might look like this. Okay. So that's on the education. There's a number of optional sections on the LinkedIn profile, and the way to see those is to go to Edit Profile, and the optional sections you're not using will show up here on the right-hand side. So for instance, you might want to highlight some projects you've done or publications you have. You might want to highlight volunteering. Organizations is an optional section. Certifications is an optional section that I use. Organizations is another one. So it's good to be aware of what some of those optional sections of the profile are that you might want to use. Okay, let me just see anything I want to finish up. In the education section, I don't think I saw anyone with a whole lot of information, but you guys are either have finished or are finishing up your master's degrees. Courses, okay, fine, but tell me something about why you decided to do it, what you're getting out of it, how you're applying it, how it's changed your skills and knowledge. This is an emerging trend within business, and you wanted to be on the leading edge of it. Okay. There's a lot of stuff you can include in your education section. The more recent it is, the more relevant it is. Okay. But for instance, on my profile, I don't do that, but I really should. I should explain. If you look at my education section, I did my undergraduate degree in environmental engineering, and a graduate. Let's go back here. Here we go. Right. Environmental engineering to counseling. There's a story there, and that's what I haven't told yet in my profile, and that's what I want to bring into my profile, is some of that story.
You can add paragraphs to that education section?
Yes. So let me show you I think the best, so let me go to Edit Profile. So you would go down to the educations, and let's say I wanted to add something here. I would click Edit. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then right here under description, okay? Don't do it under activities and societies, just put in description. So you could have a sentence, you could have a paragraph, you could have bullets. Okay?
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Okay, well, I want to finish things up, looking at our time. What else? What other questions do you have? What else would be helpful at this point for me to finish up with? Anything from you, Joshua?
I'm looking at my profile to see
Okay.
if anything that sticks out in my mind.
Any questions for you, Bobby?
Yeah, I was just curious about I don't know if you want to call it registering, or if you have an interest in particular positions and jobs get posted in LinkedIn. Does LinkedIn notify you?
So there is a jobs tab across the top here, okay? And you can search for jobs, okay? And you can do advanced searches, okay? Now you're interested in training. Let's put in the word training, okay? And so these are jobs that companies have decided to post on LinkedIn. And I can choose a location over here if I want to narrow that down. I think this one located, I could choose a zip code. All right, so this is my home zip code. So I want jobs within 50 miles of my home. Well, let's pick a smaller number. I don't want to commute 50 miles. Okay, well, anyway. So of those 612,000, how many of them are within 50 miles of my home? Okay. And so it has the word training anywhere in the profile. Again, I could look for training just in the title. Okay. And then let's see, jobs tab. I know you can set up alerts. Save jobs. So here, save jobs, save searches. Save your searches. Will let you know when new results match your criteria. So somewhere there is a way to save searches. I don't know offhand what it is.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
But what I want to show you, and it might be here somewhere. I just don't see where it is. Let me see. Oh, here it is. Save search. Upper right corner. So it's going to save, any job with the word training within 50 miles of this postcode, if I click save search, it'll save that and then send those to me. Okay? It'll send me weekly, or I presume I can change that to daily. Okay? You can save up to 10 searches, and so on and so forth. Okay? Now, anytime you have a question on LinkedIn, one place to come, again, hovering over your little photo here, you can come down to Help Center. And now it wasn't, let's see if it'll load or not. I tried doing this earlier and it wouldn't. Okay, there we go. So save job search. You can just type in a keyword in the Help Center, a keyword or a couple keywords, and it'll give you some suggested answers, okay, as well as down here email alerts for saved job searches. Okay, people will ask questions, and there's a question, the exact question you were asking, and then you can see what the responses were. So that's over here. Again, your photo, go to Help Center, type in a keyword or two. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Now, you can certainly apply for jobs on LinkedIn and that kind of thing. I think the real power of LinkedIn, though, is the connections you make with people at your target companies, the connections you make with people in your field, the conversations you have in the LinkedIn groups. That's where the real power of LinkedIn comes. So I think people are missing out if they only use LinkedIn to search for jobs on the Jobs tab. All right, well, thank you both. And